so therefore I stand by my measure that executive orders being issued is really difficult, and they're doing things very quickly, at least on the White House team. And I know that a lot of the criticism is of specific people in the White House. I think those criticisms are incorrect too. I mean, the media has portrayed Steve Bannon as this Rasputin figure who's, either evil or incompetent, and he's neither. I know him well, and he is extremely bright. He is very gifted at keeping the president focused on the strategic objectives of the administration, which is what his job title is. And so I think, Trump was wise to put him in that position. One other point, when you look at the team and you say, well, what about these first 100 days? Why hasn't the State Department accomplished anything yet? Why hasn't this? You also have to remember this. The Senate has been very slow to confirm people, excruciatingly slow to confirm people. So the team is actually not fielding a full team on the field. They're not playing in the NFL with 11 players. They're playing with 2 players right now, the secretary and the deputy secretary. They don't even have the undersecretaries in the system.
I want to go to Rich Lowry because you are the only one not frowning right
I'm thinking of changing my vote just to make it more sporting to support Chris here.
Stay where you are.
What can I say? I think the team's gotten better. H.R. McMaster is a great national security advisor, a wonderful man, but it's just not. It's not an impressive team. As Jen pointed out, there's a huge swath of the Republican Party that didn't support him or wrote letters saying we're opposed to him. And, for understandable reasons, he wants people loyal to him. So that immediately cuts out a huge element of the talent. Plus, for whatever reason, they've just been very slow to nominate people. So I think the best you could say, the best grade you could give them would be an incomplete.
Ian Bremmer?
Yeah, I mean, the Flynn debacle is already clear and a world record. But, he did, but then he ended up with a better national security advisor who was not his pick, but the next iteration was good. This is what happened at State. He wanted Giuliani, which would have been an unmitigated disaster, right? And so then he's like, okay, let's try some other people. So he had Romney there, and then he had Stavridis, and he had Huntsman, and these were capable people. And he's like, no, I don't want any of these guys. Tillerson comes in, who he'd never met before, and he's like, Rex. Rex is a big guy. His name's Rex. He kind of looks like a Secretary of State. And I mean, his favorite author's Ayn Rand, and Trump thinks he's Howard Rourke. So, I mean, you can see how that works, right? But that wasn't his pick, and so now, of course, you've got to actually, I think, a very capable Secretary of State, but one that doesn't actually have access to the president, right? And so it's not working, and so Tillerson's nowhere. And that's a real problem because he doesn't have staff, because he can't promote staff, and the staff he want to promote will get stopped by the White House. So, like, on every front, I mean, I'd love to say you could give this guy an incomplete on this. It's so much worse.
Okay, let me bring in Jennifer Rubin.
Ian is right. The problem has not been that the Senate has been excruciatingly slow. They're always excruciatingly slow. It's been that he hasn't bothered to nominate dozens and dozens of jobs. In fact, he's announced that he doesn't need them at all. So he's throwing away hundreds of positions, which, of course, he needs to implement his policy. So not very bright. I think the bigger issue with Ivanka and with Jared Kushner is not simply that they're totally unqualified, which they are, but that they have, like Trump himself, massive conflicts of interest. And what they are creating is a cesspool of corruption. They are flying in the face of, yes, the Emoluments Clause, which applies to them because they are White House officials, White House employees as well. And that Republicans, unfortunately, have sort of thrown constitutional niceties and a concern for good governance out the window because it's their guy, so they have to protect him. Well, I guess that's politics, but it's pretty cruddy for the country.